Cryptocurrency took the nation by storm in 2020. Everybody saw it as a get-rich-quick scheme. Maybe they saw some viability in its programming and stuff like that, practical applications. There were a lot of people who saw it as a scam, especially when your favorite content creators like Logan Paul decided to hop into the game. And that leads us to today, where the Logan Paul cryptozoo scam is getting way worse just when we thought it was getting better. For those of you who don't know, cryptozoo is a failed blockchain game where you could buy and exchange NFTs of different exotic animals. Now, Logan Paul, content creator, promoted this game as something that's really fun, really thrilling, and a place where you could really get some money. There was a lot of drama involved with the game. I mean, look at this image. It's literally a stock photo that they were using in order to sell it off to people. And people dumped their money in, of course, because they love Logan Paul. They love their favorite content creator. And then he did the old rug pull, the old bait and switch.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project because as of now, there's a model, a lot of people in the crypto space, and that's releasing a set number of unique assets. And this project that I have is that fresh take. Cryptozoo.co. That's all I'm going to say about it now. Provides a yield with a token and earn you money. And as a person who understands, I think, the NFT space enough to know what works, what people want, and what they're looking for, I think my game is going to make some waves.
Now, the victims definitely didn't take this lightly because it was an investment opportunity. They poured their money in. They got the rug pulled from underneath them. And a lot of them felt upset to the point where there were a lot of lawsuits filed against Logan Paul. Now, he can admit some of his wrongs, so he decided that he was going to pay back a percentage in damages to some of these people. That came down to two parts, by the way. CryptoZoo NFTs and Zoo tokens. Logan only chose to refund the NFTs. That's the smaller portion, by the way. Now, if you took that return, you would have to drop the lawsuit. And there were some people who went with it. Now, the biggest problem, like I alluded to earlier, is that this was nowhere near the percentage that people put into the project. There was tons of money that was still out there. And I love this because it's good old snake oil salesman tactics. Logan now is trying to push all the blame onto the people that were working on the project and not him. But a couple months ago, he was trying to frame it or shape it as if he was the one who was over the project, knowledgeable, super knowledgeable about stuff like that.
To me, at the end of the day, Logan laid in bed with some dirty dogs, and now he wants to sweep it all under the rug and silence anyone who has something to say about it. And to me, anyone who tries to silence legitimate criticism through unjust copyright, or even worse, a lawsuit like this, is just a massive puss.
Now, this brings us here today because this is a clear scam by Logan Paul. No other way to describe it, no other way to put it. We're not going to sugarcoat it on here. And especially over at Coffeezilla, they are not going to sugarcoat it. They do in-depth breakdowns of people who are getting scammed all the time. And Mr. Paul no likey. Now, Logan came out and antagonized the whole channel and the docuseries, calling it a hit piece and even threatened legal action.
And lastly, Coffeezilla. I now know your motives with this. Clout and money, good for you, but also you're slimiest. We're gonna handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
Obviously, everyone said this made him look like an even bigger douche than before, and so then he would say this.
Coffeezilla is not a criminal. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire and ego. Thank you, Coffeezilla. You have catalyzed this, and I am very grateful for your work and your investigation.
Holy backpedal, Batman. I've never seen anybody backtrack so fast, but ultimately Logan Paul stepping out of the window like he did earlier is two things. One, somebody who is arrogant, egotistical, somebody who thinks that he's a know-it-all hotshot, not really realizing that you can't just say you're gonna sue people, especially if there's validity to the claims that Coffeezilla is making on the channel. I believe there's some truth in what Coffeezilla said. And then two, you're kind of admitting some sort of guilt, in my personal opinion, when you retract these statements. Now, I am glad that these guys squashed it on the internet because sometimes these things do get far out of hand. Even Coffeezilla talked about it. Logan Paul called me and apologized, said he's dropping lawsuit threats, deleting the rash response videos, and will be taking accountability, apologizing, and coming forward with a plan. Logan Paul comes down in the bottom and says, the war is not with Coffee. In fact, I'm grateful he brought it to the light. I will be taking accountability, apologizing, coming forward with a plan in the near future. Thank you all for believing in this project and sticking with me. I know it's been bumpy, but your support is justified or whatever. I don't know. Now, I love it when two men can come together. They can put their differences to the side and they can be stand up. Stop. I can't put this facade on. You know Logan Paul's going to backtrack on all of this.
This lawsuit says Logan Paul wants to hold me accountable for my actions. What actions are those? Holding him accountable? Currently, Logan is fighting the victims of CryptoZoo in court, and now he's fighting the journalist who exposed him in the first place. Logan's 5 lawyers tried to discredit me as a journalist. They say I had a false and malicious narrative. But you know who doesn't believe that? You know who secretly praises me behind the scenes?
This journalist, YouTuber, crypto uncoverer guy named Coffeezilla, who's incredible, by the way. a very thorough, good-hearted, smart guy did a deep dive into this project that I attempted to make called cryptozoo.
Isn't it weird that he brought up another lawsuit? That's so weird to me. Now, mind you, defamation requires some sort of malicious intent. And if you've ever watched a Coffeezilla video, I promise you, it's nothing but just thorough investigation in which he just wants people to be held accountable for their actions, admit where they're wrong, and then right those wrongs ultimately. Which Logan Paul could have just taken and ran with it. But to say that a commentary channel on the internet is supposedly responsible for defamation after you did actions that were terrible, and he's just outlining the facts about the matter, is just more of your ego not allowing you to be successful. So I think the most interesting thing in 2024 is that people can just throw the word sue out there recklessly. People can say, I'm gonna sue you for this. People say, I'm gonna sue you for that. But if you have no bounds or grounds to stand on, then what the hell are you suing for? Literally, take it to the chin and hold accountability for your acts. Because Logan Paul doesn't even really realize he can't sue Coffeezilla for a damn thing.
Doesn't look good when you compliment the guy you're trying to sue. Maybe that's why Logan isn't even suing me for my original investigation at all. Despite most of this lawsuit being a ridiculous fanfic about how I took Logan out of context, that Logan was a victim, that I withheld text messages, Logan isn't suing me for any of the original investigation though, because he knows he can't. I'm being sued for 2 videos and 1 tweet where I advocated for refunds for the victims.
Instead of just doing the right thing and probably just chalking it up and saying, hey, I'm a grown man, I made a mistake, I'm going to refund all of you guys because I didn't understand what I was doing, I'm going to go ahead and sue the guy that's advocating for the refunds. Now, I might be stepping out of bounds here, I may get sued, but that seems like somebody who did in fact know what they were doing, never himself got scammed or had the wool pulled over his eyes, and is now trying to escape responsibility because he wants to look like some sort of golden boy in the light. I don't know why. We know Logan Paul's past. We know about what you do in the woods. We know about some of the other content that you created in the past. People don't think that you're this great guy who know you, Logan. And again, the lawsuit is very contradictory because in the text messages which you sent to Coffeezilla literally shows that you say, I believe that these people are victims in this situation.
Having a clause to make sure you couldn't sue him for the rest of your refund. And the tweet, I simply said, Logan's the type of guy to thank you for exposing a scam and block you when you remind him to pay up. Now, I'm sure Logan doesn't like it when I say things like Logan's victims or Logan's scam. If they're not Logan's victims, whose victims are they? Even Logan admits they are victims. He told me via text, so he agrees people have been wronged by his game. You know, the thing that he said will earn you money.
It's a really fun game that makes you money.
How are these not Logan's victims? He, of course, would say it's his business partner's fault. But remember, Jake and Eddie have been out of the picture for years. And yet, CryptoZoo hasn't been released, despite Logan constantly promising it, and of course, also threatening to sue me.
By the time this comes out, it'll be done. The game's gonna be made. You're gonna have the opportunity to get your money back if you want, if you don't want to play the game. And I'm gonna take care of the people who made me look like this was a scam perpetrated by me.
So you say it's not a scam perpetrated by you, but 2 things remain true. You claim that you were going to do some sort of refund and you didn't do it, or you half-assed did it. And then 2, you said the game is going to be out and ready to go, but the game is still not out and ready to go. This seems like the definition of a scam to me. I don't know if he doesn't like the wording used behind it, but Logan, people are already over your shenanigans. And trust me, the people who even put their money into it are ultimately just fans of you. Like, I don't think that they were really looking for money in the first place, because to think that Logan Paul would be somebody who is, you know, doing things right and is able to hop into this new finance lane and make you money in something as new and not as understood as crypto, even by the experts, let alone a Logan Paul, is just a little ridiculous to me. And I also hate the fact that Logan Paul knows that he makes a large amount of money. Now, I'm not saying Coffeezilla doesn't either, but the fact that he makes so much money that he's trying to bury Coffeezilla in some sort of legal fees or get him involved in some sort of court proceedings that will be lengthy and arduous, no doubt about it, but will ultimately have him spending a ton of his money. For 2 reasons we know that that's true. One, he's using comments in the YouTube video as some sort of way to say like, yo, this is how he's defaming the client or whatever the case may be. And then 2, he also should know, or maybe doesn't know, that Coffeezilla's insurance has decided that they are not going to cover any of this lawsuit by using some sort of loopholes or fine lines or whatever the case may be.
We have to fight Logan with our personal fund, which means I need to ask for your support. If you want to help and are able to help, you can join our Patreon, which supports the channel, or you can buy exclusive merch at coffeezilla.store. Life hands you lawsuits, you get rejected by your insurance. make merch.
Now, I don't have a problem with Coffeezilla doing this. Life gave him lemons, he's trying to make lemonade. And especially because somebody who is ultra rich, who has a lot of money, is trying to silence him, is trying to bury him, and ultimately trying to stop his livelihood, because stuff like this could very much taint Coffeezilla's livelihood. A lot of the time, defamation lawsuits aren't even necessarily about a person being victimized by words or whatever the case may be. These are people who have mass amounts of wealth trying to bury somebody else, silence them from their criticisms or their conversations. And because they know that they can weather a legal storm, they know that, you know, they have a better chance of faring in these conversations. What does Logan Paul really gain from this? Like, let's say that there's some sort of monetary settlement involved in this situation. Coffeezilla having to pay you and not being able to afford to pay you nor afford lawyers doesn't do anything for Logan Paul's pockets other than have Coffeezilla stop making videos about Logan Paul. Like, this man hasn't made a video on you in 6 months. You have got to let it go, gang.
The Ontario Securities Commission revealed a Liquid Marketplace investigation where they accused Liquid Marketplace of being a multi-layered fraud, taking in $2.7 million from the sale of these fractionalized collectibles. The platform allegedly did not do exactly what it promised. Some of the blockchain tokens did not even mint. But even worse was the allegation that approximately $3 million was misappropriated from $10 million they raised of investor funds. Ryan Bahadouri, the guy I tried to speak to, was accused of, quote, making hidden payments to shell corporations without any legitimate business purpose.
At this point, I just gotta believe that those that are uber wealthy are egotistical, sensitive bullies. Instead of spending so much time attacking people, searching tweets, looking at these YouTube videos, etc., literally all you could do is find a way to pay these people back the money that they put into your project. Hell, they're Logan Paul fans. Get them a couple tickets to a wrestling event and call it a day, but do what's right for the people and not what's right for your ego for once. Jesus Christ.